Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Steve Kenyon Podcast. I'm Steve Kenyon, and we've got a couple of different guests that we're going to share some things with you today. I want you to meet my friend J.C. Neville, who is from Idaho and the Cubit Hay Company. They are brand new partners of ours, and really, my horses just love what they have to offer. Their products are great, and quality and guaranteed quality, and we'll tell you all about it here in just a moment. With JC, you'll hear an interview I did with him. Later on, Lindsay Rosser-Sumter will join us. She is the commissioner of the Women's Rodeo World Championships. The biggest couple of weeks in women's rodeo is about to get underway. The partnership of the Cowgirl Gathering and the Women's Rodeo World Championships, which will happen alongside the PBR World Finals. $1.2 million on the line for Cowgirls, and Lindsay will tell us all about that coming up. And you'll also hear from Logan Corbett. I just got done announcing Battleborn Broncs in Fallon, Nevada, and Logan was one of the camp instructors. Darcy Sparrow, who is a lady from Battleborn Boots that produces Battleborn Broncs, has always had a real commitment to putting on an educational opportunity, producing an educational opportunity. And so a group of kids had a chance to hear not just from Logan, who's a former bareback rider and college rodeo coach, now he's involved in Champion Living Fitness, about just taking care of themselves, but they heard from Mitch Pollock, the National Finals Saddle Bronc rider. They heard from two Hall of Famers, Luke Branquino and Casey Field. They heard from college rodeo coach Ben Londo. It was really a good day. The bronc riding, the bareback riding and the bronc riding was Friday and Saturday. Rocker Steiner won the bareback riding. There was a tie in the saddle bronc riding, Sage Newman and the Australian Darcy Riddle. But the thing about this is that it's a 2-day event, and what they do to give back to young people who want to get involved in professional rodeo is, I think, as big a deal as the bronc match and the bareback riding itself. So you'll hear from Logan coming up, and it's all being sponsored by the Cowboy Channel, by Next Gen Rodeo. Thank you to the Gooding Pro Rodeo in Gooding, Idaho. This year in August in Gooding, we'll celebrate the 100th year of the Gooding County Fair. Resistol. We live it every day. This weekend is Resistol Rookie Roundup Weekend at the Cowtown Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas, Friday and Saturday. I'll be hosting the pre-show on the Cowboy Channel. Wrangler, Long Live Cowboys, by the Grandview at Las Vegas, by the Justin Boot Company, the Standard of the West since 1879, by Equinity. It's all about the horse online at teamequinity.com. M2 Ranch Jerky, Rodeo Life Magazine, and the Cubit Hay Company. We had a chance to talk to J.C. Neville, who is the man behind Cubit Hay, and here's what he had to say about our new partnership with Cubit Hay.
Thanks, Steve. It's great to be here.
Well,
thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for your time, because I got you out in the middle of the field, right? You're planting something today, right?
Yeah, that's right. We're in the middle of our planting season. We're trying to drill some grain and stuff right now, trying to get it drilled before the wind blows today. So,
is that possible this time of year in Idaho to get it done before the wind blows?
No, we usually get that done in the middle of all the windstorms.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about Cubit, and I want to preface this by saying we started feeding Cubit cubes to our horses a couple of months ago, and they love them. They eat them up. And I knew they would. JC, you guys are a family company. Tell me about the origins of what you do and how long you've been at it.
Yeah. So, Steve, we've been a family farm for years. My brother and I will be, I believe, 4th or 5th generation farmers, actually. And my dad and his family started farming out here in Hamer back in the 70s. And then my dad and mom moved out here, and we grew up out here in Hamer, Idaho. And my brother and I elected to stay on the farm, and had a neighbor that had a cubing facility that decided it was time to retire, and his kids decided they want to do some other things with their life. And so we had the opportunity to go in and buy the cubing facility and start there.
And so, you've been at it ever since. When you talk about Hamer, Idaho, correct me if I'm wrong, that's southeastern Idaho, not too far outside the home of one of my favorite rodeos to announce in Blackfoot, right?
That is correct. We're about 70 miles north of Blackfoot, up I-15.
Got it.
Yep.
Talk about the various products you offer. You do various size cubes, right? Tell me about just kind of what you offer.
Yeah, we have what we refer to as our regular size cubes, and that's about the cubes that you see mostly. They're about inch in diameter, that they're square. They vary in length, But then there's also a mini cube that we offer, and it's 3/4 inch in diameter and varies in length as well. We and then we also have the pellets, and we do alfalfa. There's also grass mixes available, and also straight grass pellets available. We can't do a straight grass cube because we don't like to put binders in our cubes, and if we did the straight grass cube, we'd have to put a lot of binder in, and just elected not to do that. Personally, we like our regular cube the most and promote that the most because it's just, for some reason, that cube just stays softer than the mini cubes, and the horses just seem to do a lot better with it.
That's what we've been feeding, and like I say, our horses love it. They really do. Tell me what your customers and the people that you do business with tell you are the advantages to feeding cubes, and what it is I know why I like to feed them, but I'm curious what other people are saying.
Well, and it depends on what their situation is. Like, you have the rodeo people that are on the rodeos traveling a lot. They like the convenience of, they can put so much more feed in their trailers, and it's easier to get it up and down to their pods, or they can throw it right in their tack room because it's so much cleaner and stuff like that. So there's that aspect, and then there's the less waste. Also, when they're traveling, a lot of people, and our cubes don't need to be soaked, but when they're traveling, they'll put water in with their cubes so they know that their animals are staying hydrated while they're traveling and stuff like that. And then when you look at the ranches and stuff that we are associated with and do business with, the ease of feeding, the ease of being able to know exactly how much your horses are getting, the amount of waste reduction is phenomenal that they're seeing. They're seeing not only a reduction in waste as far as the horses eating and sorting through the cubes or the hay, but also seeing a reduction in the manure. So they know their horses are utilizing that feed a lot more, which we all know that if you can utilize the feed, it just makes your animal that much more healthy.
Yeah. I told you I know why I like to feed the cubes. Number one, ease of transport. Number two, it is just so much cleaner. You don't have, old hay you got to constantly scrape out of your pens or your feeders or whatever.
Yep.
And I hadn't even thought about just the fact that their bodies are using the cubes more and better. That to me is something I'm gonna have to pay attention to now.
Yeah. And that's a big thing that, just like all your athletes, you just want them to be able to have the best food they can, best nutrition, and utilize the food.
JC, tell me, where does the hay come from? I mean, you guys you're out planting today, but
Yep.
this is a I'm guessing you go through a few tons of hay a year.
Yeah, we do quite a few ton of hay, but
tons, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, we have on our own farm about 3,000 to 4,000 ton of hay a year, but we source everything here, which we refer to as a Snake River Valley. So within about a 70, 80 miles max radius of Hamer is where we're sourcing our hay. And we deal with some great farmers, put up very good quality hay, and been doing business with several of them for several years. So they've learned the quality of hay that we like, and that works best for us to be able to cube and make a quality product.
I have one more question I want to ask you, and then I want to let you get back to doing the other things you were doing. But you've got kind of a cool crew of people, I know, at least in rodeo, and I think outside of rodeo as well, that are endorsing and using and feeding your products. Talk about some of them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's I might not be able to name them all, but in the rodeo, yeah, we have several of them that are feeding. Tyler Wag and Sarah, and then there's Tyler Pearson that he's feeding them, and then we got Junior Naga. I cannot say his last name very well. Thank you. And then and Caleb Driggers, and then we also have Yeah, put me on the spot. I
Yeah,
can't think of them all.
it's probably not fair to ask you about that while you're sitting out in the field and with the
Yeah,
tractor right
yeah,
next door to you. But it's a really
yeah,
good group, and I
yeah.
guess the reason I brought it up is
Oh,
Wags is.
Stevie Hillman.
Oh
We have
yeah,
Stevie Hillman and Sissy Wynn. Sorry. Yeah. So
yeah. Don't
yeah,
forget the barrel racers for sure. Those guys are Wags and Junior and Caleb. They're all going to be in the Hall of and Pearson. They're all
yeah,
world champions, maybe in the Hall of Fame someday. Wags is the
yeah,
person that introduced me to you, full disclosure, and I couldn't
yeah,
be more thankful to he and Sarah for helping to create this relationship that we're building because
yeah,
I really do. I think the world of the product, and I love the fact that you guys are a family operation and a family farm and a family company that gives back a lot to the communities that you're in and creates a great product.
yeah. Well, and that's just it. Is when we, especially our sponsored contestants and stuff, they just become part of our family, and even our crew at the shed, they're all family to us, and not in a real sense, but we refer to them as all of our family. And when we take on a new sponsored contestant or something, the first thing I say to them, and I says, I just don't take it weird, but I says, you'll become part of the family, and we're going to do whatever we can do to make your life better or more successful as far as on the feed end. And that's our goal, is to just make their life better. And that goes not only for the sponsored contestants, but a customer in general. We want to take care of people and know that we stand behind our product, and that we're going to put out a product that we're extremely proud of, one, and that we would feed to our own animals. I mean, one thing we strive to do with our company is a consistent, high quality feed.
That's J.C. Neville from Cubit Hay Company. You'll find them online, Cubit Hay, Cubeit, hay.com. Let's check in on what's about to happen for women in rodeo. As the Women's Rodeo World Championships are about to get underway, and along with our friends from Next Gen Rodeo, you can enter on the Next Gen Rodeo app. We had a chance to talk to Lindsay Rosser-Sumter, the commissioner of the WRWC. The biggest couple of weeks in women's sports are about to get underway. Lindsay Rosser-Sumter, the commissioner of the Women's Rodeo World Championships, joins us. And Lindsay, actually starting this weekend with barrel racing, it's on. I don't know if you have any plans for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but don't make any if you do.
Absolutely not. Yeah, the Cowgirl Gathering kicks off this weekend at 377 Arena with their barrel racing competition, and that is our last chance qualifier for Women's Rodeo World Championship, the largest all-female rodeo in the world, with this year over $800,000 added to female athletes in the barrel racing, team roping, and breakaway roping. And we're super excited to have the opportunity to work with Cowgirl Gathering. They're a wonderful organization that celebrates women just as much as we do, with the APHA. And due to all of the kind of construction and things going down at Will Rogers, they had to adapt a little bit this year, and they separated out their event to 3 weeks starting this weekend, like I said, at 377 with the barrel racing competition.
Yeah, that's out in Stephenville, Texas. There is, between the Women's Rodeo World Championships and the Cowgirl Gathering, $1.2 million on the line. The WRWC entries are available on the Next Gen Rodeo app. What are you expecting when you get to Cowtown Coliseum here in a week or two? I think it's going to be huge.
It is going to be huge. And I'm just excited to celebrate women who, are your non-traditional rodeo athletes who are competing, on the weekends, or maybe just in the summer run when they have a chance and they're not teaching school, or their kids are, finally off and everybody can go together. It is a feat in itself, married to a professional rodeo cowboy and being gone 9 months out of the year. It's hard. And so kudos to those ladies who can do that and have the mentality to be able to do that, because it's so hard on everybody. But then at Women's Rodeo World Championship, we're an inclusive environment for all female rodeo athletes, maybe like myself, maybe like Jamie, who helps you, who has a full-time job, who can't, be gone all the time. And, and they have a chance just as much as anybody to go to AT&T Stadium and hold up a big $60,000 check when it's all said and done, because we're bringing our classifications, our pro, challenger, and limited, and we're bringing all three classifications to AT&T on May 17th.
Yeah. So let's talk about the structure and how this is all going to work. You offer team roping, breakaway roping, barrel racing, and this year, goat tying. Talk about all of that.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Are you excited? I'm so excited. Goat tying is one of those sports that you talk about athlete. My dear friend Stacy Martin, she's very involved with the goat tying community, and she clocks the girls getting off their horses, and she clocked one of her students going 31 miles per hour, getting off a horse and staying on her feet. And so we're just excited that Smarty Rodeo came in and appreciated the opportunity that we were giving to Go Tires and having a Go Tank showcase. There's $10,000 added there for the Go Tank showcase. We brought the top 20 in the leaderboard to Women's Rodeo World Championship in all the disciplines, in all the classifications. That is your number one ticket on how to get to Women's Rodeo World Championship is through the leaderboard and then our qualifier series and then through the last chance qualifier with Cowgirl Gathering. But really, 187,000, a little more than 187,000 in the barrels breakaway and heading and heeling, and then 10,000 in the goat tying, and then 10,000 in both of the limited competitions. There's just a lot of money to be won by everybody, honestly.
There will be a welcome gala on May 11th, and then round one of the competition starts on May the 12th, runs through May the 14th. That's all at Cowtown Coliseum in Fort Worth. And then the champions get to go on and do something that I can't imagine isn't like a memory for a lifetime, to compete in front of the crowd at AT&T Stadium as part of the PBR World Finals on May the 17th.
Absolutely. About only like 30,000 people. That's more than all of my small town community, Southeast Colorado, put together. I'll be, joined together to celebrate these ladies during the PBR World Finals. And thank you to our wonderful parents of the WCRA and the PBR for even seeing that women were underserved in the rodeo community about 6 years ago when they started, to make this the largest all-female rodeo, and then to showcase the ladies on the center stage at AT&T. There's no better place. There's no better atmosphere. It's really exciting. I kind of pride myself in making sure that the ladies have the best opportunity, and we have open arena. We have practice cattle that we bring in so that you can kind of get comfortable and see how it all feels and how fast it's going to be in that arena. It's right after the Kid Rockin' Rodeo on May the 16th, and then we go right into the 17th, so they can kind of see some competition in the arena in that setup, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I want to ask you about the structure of all this and what ladies need to know on this date as you and I are talking, but I'm just curious. You talked about cattle and things like that. Your breakaway roping, your team roping, that requires a lot of calves, a lot of steers. Now you got to add goats in there. There are going to be hundreds of horses coming too. How do you handle all this? Where do you put it? How many? What are the numbers look like as far as all the different animals it takes just to make this all work?
Absolutely. When it's all said and done, we'll have about 400 contestants between all of those disciplines. And that's a lot of girls, and that's a lot of horses, and that's a lot of cattle, like you said. Thank you to our partners at Will Rogers. The stalling is still available there. So there's stalls available at Will Rogers. We have great cattle contractors who come in and really listen to, I would say probably me. I'm pretty adamant about making sure that the cattle are correct for our disciplines. Our team roping steers, that's a tough arena to team rope in. There's no way about it. Yeah. Cowtown Coliseum is not team roper friendly. It's a small arena. It's a small setup. So making sure that the cattle are preconditioned correctly for, our setup and for those ladies, have a lot of conversations with them. But, our team that we have that helps put together Women's Rodeo World Championship is the most elite, producers on the planet, in my opinion, and everybody works really hard so that we all have an equal opportunity. And that's the most important. You don't want to feel like you don't have a chance because you're a limited cowgirl, or you don't have a chance because you're in the end of the draw in the barrel race. We rake every 4 barrel racers. I mean, we try really, really hard to make everything as even as possible. Pretty exciting this year that we're going to be kind of featured as your primetime spot for the Cowboy Channel with our new partnership with Teton and Cowboy Channel. And we're very excited about that. We're going to bring the top 12 in each classification for those performances on Monday and Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we'll have just a pro performance and just a challenger performance. And you'll see that there's not a huge difference in between the athletic ability of those ladies. It's just a difference in opportunities on how many times that you get to, rodeo and compete for a living and how much money that you've won. And the athletic ability of these ladies is bar none, so impressive, from the goat tying all the way to the barrel racers. I mean, some of those things that those ladies can do on a almost probably 1,500-pound barrel horse are pretty impressive as well.
So let me ask you about the technicalities of what folks need to know at this point. As you and I are talking on April the 22nd, we're getting close to the time that the Women's Rodeo World Championships will begin. You have various classifications for, based on skill level and experience and all those kinds of things. Talk about all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Women's Rodeo Championship is our governing body. And what we have done is went ahead and looked at the playing field of female athletes. You have ladies from Martha Angeloni all the way to one of my dear friends, Alma Beth Case, who's 70 years old and she was Miss Rodeo America. She worked at the college that I work at and decided to knock the dust off her rope can and go back to roping. And so she's in our limited competition. Or Wiley Joe Hodges, a young cowgirl who's just kind of starting to get roping, 13 years old. So really what we do is we have pros, challengers, and limited. The pros are the ladies, if we're talking in the breakaway roping, that have won over $30,000 in their lifetime earnings and kind of do that rodeoing for a living, have made the NFR, hold a WPRA card, made circuit finals, all of those kind of entities. Then you have your challenger. Say more of your amateur rodeo cowgirl, your college athletes, ladies who have won less than $10,000 in their annual earnings and less than $30,000 in their lifetime. And then your limited are the cowgirls that have won less than $5,000 in their lifetime earnings and are just kind of either getting back into the sport or maybe at the end of their career. In the barrel racing, ladies in the barrel race who have won over $100,000 in their lifetime earnings, hold a pro card, make those amateur or pro rodeo, circuit finals. And then the challenger is less than $100,000 lifetime earnings. And then we have the limited category, which is your true, 4D barrel racer, a woman who doesn't have a WPRA card, who doesn't go to the amateur rodeos, who doesn't really like the rodeo atmosphere. That limited competition is a 4D barrel race. It is not a true rodeo fastest time wins. It's a 4D barrel race. We'll be giving buckles and money and prizes to everybody in each D of that limited barrel race. So those are your kind of 4D barrel racing athletes, that limited classification. It's very important to think about that they have a chance to kind of come and kind of dabble their feet a little bit, but still stay comfortable in that 4D atmosphere. And then in the team roping, a number 4.5 or higher is a pro, and a 4.5 and under is a challenger. There is no limited in the team roping. The numbers just don't allow for that deep of a classification.
Yeah. There are opportunities there for everybody.
Absolutely.
There's a part of me that wants to ask a question about why all this matters, and I think the answer is because you've created so many new opportunities for everybody from that 13-year-old kid you talked about to that former Miss Rodeo America who gets to go out and compete all over again.
Mm-hmm. It's important. Our rodeo community is small, and we all think it's big, but the degree of separation is so minimal in between you and heck, throw Donald Trump in the mix. We're one phone call away. We could probably get him on the phone. I mean, it's just because of our community and so small and so tight knit. But it's hard to think that I'm of the generation when I finished college, I was pretty much done as a breakaway roper. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for it. And so now the breakaway roping has gotten really big, but it's really hard. It's really hard. The rodeos are limited. It's very expensive. The jackpot numbers have kind of diminished. And then you look at the barrel racing and you look at how much there is in the barrel racing. There's probably over 100,000 women that like to run barrels and go to that 4D atmosphere, but maybe they think it would be cool to have a chance to run at AT&T, right? To maybe run against Sherry Serby or Haley Kinsel or, Brittany Posey, some of those ladies that are their idols. And this is a chance for everybody to come together in a collective unit. It's not every day you get to back in the box and rope against Martha, but don't have to beat her in the beginning, right? She and Jackie and Larry D and Hope and Kelsey and all of those girls can compete and they can fight it out to get to their 3 to the end. And then the challengers get to fight it out to their 3 in the end and get confident and really just hone in and know exactly where they're at and then everybody comes together. And the limited is the same way. It's a deed format for the limited breakaway roping. So really just this awesome atmosphere to have this inclusive environment to bring everybody together, because there's not every day that you get to say you got to rope and wear the same jacket and wear the same contestant gear that, you know, your idols get to wear. And because you don't have that opportunity because you're a lawyer and you just had a court case and, you know, wherever you're at and you can't do it, or you're a dentist, or heck, you're just a mom and it's hard, you know. It's just a great chance to bring everybody together and celebrate females in our industry.
What do ladies who would like to enter, who would like to compete, need to know? At this point, I think you're buying your membership for 2026, right? As you and
Absolutely.
I are talking on April 22nd, what does everybody need to know?
Yeah, so we're in April to April year. So our year runs, so 2026. If you go onto the virtual rodeo qualifier and you choose your event, which I'll kind of back up just a little bit, you got to start at Next Gen Rodeo and go in and buy your Women's Rodeo Championship ID card. And that ID card allows us to classify you. There's a questionnaire that you'll fill out and we'll classify you in your discipline. Okay, that's step one. Step two is to go to Women's Rodeo Championship app and download the app and build your profile in the virtual rodeo qualifier, which that allows you to go to any rodeo event across the country, from Cheyenne Frontier Days to Fowler Roping Club just down the road. And as long as we can verify that it is a true event, get all of the information from the secretary and all of the secretary sheets so that we can get the results, then we can start administering points to where you win in the money that you've won. So you go into the virtual rodeo qualifier, you nominate your event. I always like to call it just doubling down your money. You're already going, you already paid your fuel, you already paid your entry fees, pay your nomination fee, and get on the leaderboard for Women's Rodeo Championship in your classification. We bring the top 20 in the leaderboard. And then we do have qualifier series across the country. We work with a lot of great producers. We just did a great deal with the NBHA, and we're so thankful to them. A lot of their super races are going to have Women's Rodeo Championship side pots, and they'll be QS, which is qualifier series, your straight shot to Women's Rodeo Championship. You know, we work with Darren Peterson with the BFI. We just work with a lot of great producers, and they allow us to be qualifier series for Women's Rodeo Championship. So straight shot to there. And then obviously, like we're having right now with Cowgirl Gathering, which is also a qualifier series for 2026. So you can not only get your last chance in for W25, but your first chance into W26 right there at Cowgirl Gathering this weekend in the barrel race.
That virtual rodeo qualifier has been a big deal. It's
super
helped
cool,
create it.
really.
Yeah. I have two final questions, and I know you have a meeting, but I don't want to make you late.
We got time. We got lots of time.
That old barn in Fort Worth, the Cowtown Coliseum, starting May the 8th at the PBR World Finals Elimination Round, and all the way up through your event, May 12th, 13th, and 14th. That thing's going to go undergo a few facelifts in a very short period of time, isn't it?
Absolutely. It'll turn over really fast. I mean, we compete on Wednesday morning and have our semifinals and crown our world champions. And like I said, be on the Cowboy Channel live on the Cowboy Channel. Super excited to crown. You know, we're beside the PBR. We give $5,000 cash bonuses to our world champions. Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
I mean, they fought the whole year to have that gold buckle, and we crown those world champions and give them their cash bonus right there. And then, like you said, the rodeo, the Cowtown Coliseum turns over and it turns into a bull riding arena, and it's just fun to see how much the sport has evolved. You know, growing up in the industry, I've packed my set of panels for sure to set up arenas all over the country, and to see how fast they can make the atmosphere in a building change is pretty exciting.
Yeah. Lindsay, I want you to tell me about the next couple of weeks of your life between the Women's Rodeo World Championships, and you are also Bobby Moat's assistant coach on the free riders of the that'll be the team that is competing at Kid Rock's Rockin' Rodeo. You and Bobby won't even find out who's on your team until
5 days before.
Yeah. You get the champions and the reserve champions from Rodeo Corpus Christi become the free riders, and you happen to be the defending champions. You won it last year. You don't know if you'll have any of those same team members on your team this year or not. But you've got a very, very interesting next 2 or 3 weeks of your life ahead, I think, don't you?
Absolutely. It is crazy. It turns into a little bit of a whirlwind. I was just in Fort Worth for the Rodeo Committees Association's conference and for the American, and what a great experience that was. All the rodeos I've been to, I had never been to the American, so I was happy to be there this year. But we go from kind of winding down at school and finishing up the semester for school for the boys and for the college that I work at, Otero College, straight into Rodeo Corpus Christi. And I loved my team last year. We had so much fun. It was a great team, and everybody just kind of banded together. And that's really what Bobby and I are. We're very passionate about making sure that there's that team atmosphere. Being a college rodeo coach for 15 years, I kind of understand that part of it. And I kind of have my way of coaching, and I just brought it straight to Kid Rock and Rodeo. And we'll do the same thing. I mean, either way, no matter what, our team is built off of a team of winners. I mean, you can win up to 25, 30,000 at Rodeo Corpus Christi if you kind of get on a run. And so when you come off of that big win, you have a lot of confidence anyways. And then when you have I'm kind of a rah girl anyways. I'm a cheerleader all the way. Bobby, he's the more serious one, but I'm kind of the cheerleader. I'm always, hooting and hollering and carrying on and, just kind of trying to build everybody up. And so, I just love the concept that everybody got to choose their team. They got to pick all the gold buckles they want. We're going to end up with gold buckles on our team. I know it. And I'm just excited. That's a cool experience to put that team together and make sure that they understand the concept behind it. And we really pride ourselves on understanding how the rules are and how the rodeo is going to function. So it gets a little crazy. So we go straight from Corpus to women's. I fly in the morning from Rodeo Corpus to our back number gala and put my fancy dress on and celebrate those ladies at the back number ceremony on Mother's Day, and then straight into round 1, round 2 in the semifinals. Thursday, we get a little downtime, and then straight to Kid Rock and our championship on the 17th.
Wow. Well, there you go. Lindsay Rosser-Sumter, the commissioner of the Women's Rodeo World Championships. Go to the Next Gen app. Lindsay, that's probably the most important thing for folks who haven't entered yet is get on the Next Gen app, get on the virtual rodeo qualifier, and get yourself joined, and then maybe make some plans to try to be there in Fort Worth starting May the 12th.
And go to Cowgirl Gathering. Get that card bought. Go to Cowgirl Gathering, nominate, and get your chance in for this year and next year, all in one event. And like I said, thank you to Cowgirl Gathering for being our last chance qualifier. And we're excited. It's crazy. And you know this, Steve, we get to going and life happens. And then all of a sudden you're like, holy smokes, it's here. Like we gotta almost start packing, make sure our clothes go to the cleaners and get ready. Cause it's coming hard and fast, whether we want it to or not.
And don't forget, you can watch both the PBR World Finals this year and the Women's Rodeo World Championships on the Cowboy Channel, and that'll be the first time for all of that coming to the Cowboy Channel. Lindsay, I appreciate your time. I know you've got a lot to do today. Thank you, and we will see you sometime soon.
Yes, thank you. I miss you. I miss our show. We had so much fun.
Well, we need to talk about that sometime, but we'll do that not in public. We'll do it in private. But, yeah, I agree. It was a good time hosting the NFR a couple of years ago, and yeah, let's talk sometime, shall we?
Yes.
I'll let you get through.
You.
I'll let you get through all this other stuff in your life first, but we need to talk.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Lindsay Rosser-Sumter, thank you. Thanks to my friend Lindsay Rosser-Sumter talking about the Women's Rodeo World Championships. You can find out about entry information and more. Just go to the Next Gen Rodeo app, and you can watch the WRWC on the Cowboy Channel this year alongside the Professional Bull Riders World Finals, which will also for the first time be televised on the Cowboy Channel. So let's talk about what happened over the weekend in Fallon, Nevada. They had a great event. It's the 4th annual Battleborn Broncs, bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, Saturday night. But Friday was all about young people. Friday was all about kids. And they had some great instructors in town. Darcy Sparrow from Battleborn Boots brought in people like Hall of Famers Luke Branquino and Casey Field, college rodeo coach Ben Londo. Mitch Pollock, who's a national final saddle bronc rider and is a great teacher. Mitch could be a coach someday. He does a great job with kids, and he spent all day on Friday at the school that Darcy put together, and then he spent all day Saturday behind the bucking chutes at a high school rodeo that was going on in the outdoor arena while we were getting ready for Battleborn in the indoor arena. I had a chance to talk to Logan Corbett. Logan's a really good bareback rider. He's retired now. Was a college rodeo coach in New Mexico. Now he works for Champion Living Fitness. And here's what he had to say about what his message was to the young men and women that were involved in Battleborn this weekend. Fallon, Nevada, this is Battleborn Bronx. This is my friend Logan Corbett, who has been a really good bareback rider, currently a fitness coach with Champion Living. You're coaching kids here this weekend. Logan, I've been watching you work with some young bareback riders over here. You love this stuff.
Man, it fires me up so much to get to see the sport, right, just grow. And bareback riding for so long, we've had the least amount of entries at almost any rodeo you go to. And so at some point in time, we've really got to invest in that next generation and make sure they get the correct fundamentals from the very beginning. So, yeah, absolutely love it.
This is the interesting thing about it to me is it's called Battleborn Bronx, the event saddle bronc riding and bareback riding. We got ropers behind us. Cody Custer and Colton Fritzlin are teaching bull riders over here. Mitch Pollock's got a bunch of saddle bronc riders over here. This is the next generation.
That's exactly right. We've got a star-studded cast of instructors to help out. And so it's been so much fun to put together. One of the things that we see if you study some of the greats, Casey Field, best to ever do it. Rocker Steiner, who's hot right now. You think, what did they all have in common when they got started? And it was correct stock and proper fundamentals. And we just saw that they just exploded so quickly. And I don't think it's a fluke. There's something to having the correct fundamentals from the very beginning, and there's no better place than coming to learn from Joe Harper or Mitch Pollock on the saddle bronc riding, or just coming here, Cody Custer and Colton Fritzlin. Come on now, what can you ask for? And we've got great roping.
Chad Denton.
That's exactly right, and we've got great roping instructors as well. And so the goal is just to move the sport forward, one athlete at a time.
You had a group of young people, junior high school age kids in here earlier this morning, and I shot some video of it. You had them in a big circle. Yeah. They're doing jumping jacks and some maneuvers, quite frankly, that I hadn't seen before. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, our goal with Champion Living Fitness is to continue to help the sport of rodeo evolve and grow. We traditionally, generally speaking, rodeo is behind any other professional sport by decades. And so one of the things that we need to start incorporating is a proper dynamic warm-up before competition. And so it's like one of the things that when I get to go to schools like this one here at Battleborn is teach them what does a warm-up look like? Because we go behind there and it's like, I got to do my pre-ride stretches. And while that's better than nothing, is it the most optimal way to warm up for competition? Probably not. And up until now, we didn't know. But now, there are other sports that we can take the lead from, even though our sport is different. There's a lot of things that relay sport to sport. And so anyway, we taught them a dynamic warm-up this morning that they can take with them, and they can put it in practice at their high school rodeos, college rodeos, wherever they go.
Right. What is unique about rodeo as opposed to football, basketball, baseball? There are a lot of things. I know that's an open-ended question, but just because of what we do, there's a lot that's unique about this sport, right?
There is, and one of the things I think is the most distinct difference is the fact that professional team athletes, they have all their resources at the fingertips, whether it be rehab or PT, doctors, strength coaches, all of that's provided for them. Rodeo athletes have nothing provided for them. They have to come up with their own equipment. They have to hire a strength coach if they decide to go that route. They have to seek out the best doctors, whether it's Tandy, whoever it might be, Justin Sports Medicine. And so there's so much division because they're just independent contractors. They're not a part of a team. That's one of the things that I one of the aspects of the PBR teams we're starting to see that I love is that we're bringing young and old guys together on a team, and I think that rodeo could benefit from that. But that's probably the biggest difference is just the fact that they're having to go and seek out those things on their own.
Right. I was watching you teach a couple of young guys how to spur a horse out this morning, and watching you, training and saying, okay, now this exercise can help you with your mark out, or it can help you with standing up in the stirrups when you're roping. I really like that you're able to take take various things that we do on the ground and groundwork and stretching and all that and apply it to the different events in the sport.
Absolutely. I think that we have to give them why, because it's so different than what we've done or what they see done by others at rodeos. And so I can come in and I can give them the best warm-up in the world, but if I don't tell them how it's going to directly affect their competition, it'll go in one ear and out the other. And it still does for the most part, but it's an opportunity for me to be able to provide some education. This is how this exercise is going to help you in competition, and hopefully they'll hold on to that. That might be something they remember and something that they employ, and they might be 1% better because of it.
Last question. Champion Living Fitness has had a lot to do with a lot of rodeo athletes. Not just these kids, but some of the guys we're going to watch even at the NFR.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been such a fun ride. I mean, Doug Champion, Richie Champion's brother, started the company in 2019, right before COVID, shut the world down. So if you're starting a remote coaching business.
Nice timing.
That was really good timing. And so over the years, I came on board in 2020, right as I had quit coaching at New Mexico State and was going to try to rodeo for a living. I started with them, and it's been such a wild ride. It's been so much fun to get to work with high school athletes, college athletes, and a lot of guys going to the NFR and getting to go support them and be at the NFR with them, training them while they're there, helping them with those things. Man, it's just it's so much fun. We're getting to the spot now where everybody is expected, when you're at that level, like your floor really is somebody else's ceiling. Does that make sense? The athleticism that it takes and the condition that you need to be in as an athlete at the top level, it's unlike any other time in professional rodeo we've ever seen, and that's exciting. There's never been a better time to be a cowboy.
Logan, I appreciate your time.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you.
We posted the video of that interview on our 8 Seconds Media Facebook page, and of course you can go to our YouTube channel and find an awful lot of the videos that we produce. Our interview with JC Neville, I should say. There are several different clips of that on our 8 Seconds Media Facebook page, and you can check out our YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe to our social media sites as well. Thank you to Classic Rope and Classic Equine. Thank you to the Gooding Pro Rodeo and to Resistol, to Wrangler and the Grandview at Las Vegas, along with the Justin Boot Company, Equinity, TeamEquinity.com, M2 Ranch Jerky, and the Cubit Hay Company, and of course to Rodeo Life Magazine. I'm Steve Kenyon. God bless everybody. This is the Steve Kenyon Podcast.